Have you ever heard of the Summer of the Shark? Well, it refers to the time period between July and September of 2001 when the American news media collectively spun the narrative that shark attacks were on the rise despite no actual evidence of an increase in shark attacks. What happened was an 8-year-old boy was attacked by a shark. The boy lost an arm, went into coma, had a brain damage. Shortly afterwards, a man lost his leg from a shark attack. So following this, even though the overall number of shark attacks had not increased that year, the media turned these tragic stories into a tabloid media sensation that demonized sharks while boosting their ratings. The Summer of the Sharks is an example of how the news media takes an issue or a few stories and makes it seem like it's a big deal. That's what the news media tends to do. They take small stories and then turn them into much bigger stories. And if there's no real story, then they either make things up or they create the news themselves. That brings me to what they're doing right now in regards to Confederate statues in the United States of America. Now, I grew up in America, Indiana to be precise, so I've seen my fair share of Confederate statues. And honestly, a Confederate statue doesn't bother me in the slightest. And if you look at the polling data, most people, like myself, aren't actually bothered by the statues either. According to the NPR PBS NewsHour poll, 62% of Americans polled said they wanted the Confederate monuments to stay, while 27% said they wanted it removed, and 11% were kind of unsure. So an overwhelming majority want the statues to remain. But if you look at black people, so just black people polled, 44% want the statues to remain, while 40% want the statues to be removed, 16% are unsure. So even the majority of black folk want the statues to remain. It's not an overwhelming majority like it is for white people, but it's still a majority nonetheless. If you want my personal opinion on the topic, I would prefer that these statues remain. They are a part of our history after all. But honestly, I couldn't care less about this story, man. These stories, these freaking statues, they mean nothing to me. I wish there was no polling data on the apathy people have on issues like these, because honestly, I bet most people, most normal people, wouldn't care about this issue. The everyday average Joe the plumber cares more about health care or foreign wars, so defense spending, or any other issue with substance than Confederate statues being taken down. You people are fighting over a pile of freaking rocks. Just let the local people vote on whether or not they want these statues to remain up on federal land and be done with this stupid issue already. But then, of course, I remember how the media, the news media, did the Summer of Sharks, how they turned a nothing burger into a something burger. And just like they did with the Summer of Sharks, the news media got people worked up and angry. It got people confused, paranoid, and in some cases, murderous. In the Summer of the Sharks, people, mostly fishermen, did start to kill sharks. Right now, as you've seen with all these freaking protests, Antifa and alt-right people are starting to kill each other on the streets. And over what? A pile of rocks. A statue that most people, even black people, either don't care about or want to remain. I mean, look at all these leftist news stories on this freaking issue about a freaking statue, man. Look at all these stories. Look at them trying to make an issue out of nothing. It's just like it was in the Summer of Sharks. They collectively adopted the narrative, then went along with it. That's pretty despicable if you ask me. I'm going to end off this story by telling you this. Don't let the news media manipulate you. Take every story you see online or on the paper, even from us, with a grain of salt. And watch out from those trying to push their own agenda. I mean, who knows? They might be pushing the narrative that just either doesn't exist or isn't even an important issue. And they might be doing that to manufacture hatred and distract you from real issues. I'm Jay Feza from Rebel.media. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed that content, like, subscribe to Rebel.media. And please, if you're sick and tired of Google censoring conservative content creators, please go to our website, theycan'tstopus.com.